Hey Pretty Girl Club. This video is called Black Women Don't Want to End Colorism, They Just Want to Reverse It. You guys know that the colorism, texturism, featureism conversation, it's not about ending racism, it's not about anti-blackness, it's about switching who is on the beauty pedestal and who is not. It's about trying to switch who gets pretty privilege and who doesn't. So it wouldn't be called privilege if everyone received it, right? That would just be basic or average. And so there will always be a beauty standard. There will always be a beauty pedestal. So one thing that I don't like is when other women try to be disingenuous and they try to pretend like looks don't matter, beauty doesn't matter, social climbing doesn't matter, privilege stacking doesn't matter. And then they want to use their race or they want to use racial solidarity as an excuse so that you do not compete with them, for lack of better words, because a lot of women, they view you as competition. Like if you are higher up on some sort of social hierarchy, or if they view you as doing a better job at privilege stacking, they will try to guilt you into no longer doing that as a way of showing solidarity with them. They will say, oh, well, shut up. You're not even that light skinned. Oh, shut up. You're not biracial. You're black just like me. Meanwhile, maybe you're multi-generationally mixed. And what they're really saying on a subconscious level is, hey, get back down here at the bottom with me in order to show that you don't think you're better than me. But at the end of the day, another person's position in society, that is not your problem. And I'm not saying that like you can't feel empathy for others and that you can't try to help others. But the way that I operate is I'm not caping for women and men who wouldn't cape for me. I am not going out of my way to help and push forward women who wouldn't do that for me. And also, why is it only the one who is the pretty one or the privileged one? Why is she the only one who is given responsibility to bring everyone to the top with her? Not everybody has the same personality. Not everybody wants to make room for every single person to have a seat at the table. Some people spend their lives being focused on themselves, and you can't fault them for that. A lot of women who end up in these pretty privileged positions, or women who, let's say they social climb and they become famous or models, or they don't have to work anymore or something. A lot of those women, they're not obligated to bring other women along. They don't have to reach back and carry you. Now, if they want to and they are kind-hearted and they choose to do that, then that's fine. But even if they say no, even if they want to spend the rest of their lives enjoying themselves and just, healing from their own traumas and stuff, then they have a right to do that. Just because somebody has more privilege than you doesn't mean that they've never experienced trauma. It doesn't mean that they've never experienced heartbreak. And so if that person chooses to just enjoy their own wealth or enjoy the life that they've created for themselves, I actually see nothing wrong with that. Have you ever noticed that when another person feels like they're at the bottom and they feel like you're at the top, suddenly they want to become the moral police and make it as if you owe it to your community to, you need to go back to the hood, you need to go and support black businesses, you need to marry a black man, you need to have all black women friendships, you need to, do XYZ for Black History Month, or you need to speak out about XYZ issues. No, not everybody wants to spend their life being a social justice warrior, and not everyone has to be a social justice warrior. So for the people who are mad at mixed women, or maybe you're mad at darker skinned exoticals, maybe you're mad at women who look mixed, who like to play into that, and they like the fluid identity that comes with that, you actually can't get mad at them because they are not obligated to be civil rights warriors. They're not obligated to be social justice warriors for black women. They're not obligated to carry everybody else on their shoulders. And have you ever noticed how people want you to be their representation one day, and then, they want you to be their beauty standard, but then they get mad when you enjoy that. They get mad when you enjoy being the beauty standard. They get mad when you enjoy being the president, or, being rich, or being famous, or having access to the high life, for lack of better words. They suddenly get mad and say, well, you think you're better. And it's like, well, no, you thought that I was better this whole time because you pushed me to the forefront. You are the one that is begging me to be your representation. And guess what? I have the right to say no. I have the right to say, hey, wait a minute. No, I want to represent myself and my family members, and I want to represent what I look like. Stop begging other people to be your representation. And also, for the Exoticals on this channel, you are not obligated to be a social justice warrior. You're not obligated to be 100% pro-black all the time. And that includes being pro-black women, because a lot of times those same women will not be promoting you and they won't have a sense of sisterhood with you. There is no such thing as the quote unquote black sisterhood. Sisterhood is something that you can create in your own personal life with people that you know and trust. That is not something that my sisterhood is not a gift that I just give to random people, especially people who have had a history of publicly bashing me or calling me mediocre or calling women of my phenotype mediocre. So I understand actually why Black women empowerment spaces, why they specifically cater to dark skinned, unambiguous, monoracial Black women. I understand that. I actually am not mad at that. I'm like, hey, you know what? If you guys want to have your own space to talk about your issues and if you want to talk about leveling up and strategy and stuff like that on your channels and stuff, that's fine. But you know who else has the right to do that? Me. The Exoticals United community has the right to do that as well. The Exoticals have united. We are not going anywhere. Our population is growing every single day. Most people want to date us or create us. Most people are either dating a mixed person, they're dating a quote unquote light skinned person, or even a dark skinned person who looks mixed. A good example of this is the Glam Twins. Most people want to date us or they will divest and create us. So multi-generationally mixed people aren't going anywhere. Biracials aren't going anywhere. Multiracials aren't going anywhere. Our population is steadily growing, and so it's about time we create a space to talk about things that are important to us. And also, I don't have to constantly put on my superwoman cape for women who wouldn't do the same for me. And not all of us see everything as political. Not all of us want to spend our lives worrying about politics 24/7. And for the guys who try to say, oh, well, you need to date XYZ type of guy, you need to date Black men, you need to date this. No, we actually don't have to. The women that choose to, they can because it's their choice. But we don't have to give our bodies to anybody. And have you ever noticed how when you are considered the pretty girl or you are considered higher up on some sort of social hierarchy, people think that they have ownership and control over your body? So they will say things like, for example, let's say you have a lighter skin tone and you don't want to get a tan. People will literally accuse you of being racist and colorist because you choose what you want your own skin tone to be. You choose to either go in the sun or not go in the sun. But people think they have ownership over your own body, so they will try to force you to be in the sun. Meanwhile, I've seen plenty of people who are dark-skinned, unambiguous, say, I'm going to stay out of the sun, or you need to stay out of the sun. But then let's say a person has a lighter tone and they do the same thing, then suddenly it's a problem. Why does everybody else get ownership over their own bodies other than MLS women? Same thing with skin tone nicknames. I've heard some women say that they are dark skinned. They will say, oh, I'm chocolate. Oh, I'm brown. Oh, I'm cinnamon. I'm caramel. I'm light skinned. And then as soon as you say you are light skinned or red bone, yellow bone, or any other terms that are considered somehow colorist, as soon as you give your own self a nickname, your own body part, your own organ, your skin is literally just an organ on your body. So as soon as you give your own organs a nickname, then people want to suddenly argue with you and they want to go back and forth. They want to compare pictures of you in the summer versus the winter. Then they want to know like what shade of foundation are you? Who's your celebrity lookalike? They're going to call their friends and family members to ask them their opinion on your skin. And it's like, why can't we have ownership over our own bodies? Why can't I have ownership over my own DNA? Like people will say, oh, you're only 25% this, you're only 30% that, you're only 40% English. And it's like, okay, even if they are, like it's their body, it's their DNA. That blood is running through their veins. So they can choose to talk about it or not talk about it. But if they want to talk about it, and if they feel a connection with that part of themselves, or they want to feel a connection with that part of themselves, they have that right. So just like how everybody else has the right to be beautiful, the right to be confident, the right to look how they want, we do too. But what do you ladies think? Let me know in the comment section and I'll talk to you next time. Stay pretty, ladies.